Welcome back to Don's Life. Welcome to the channel. Today we're doing a garage upgrade. I'm going cheap, I'm going frugal, and I'm installing the absolute lowest cost Hexagon lighting I could find to put in my garage. Let's go. So here's an example for you. This is a hexagon, so there are 6 sides. I've got it hooked up to one of my Blue Eddy portable power units right now because I have the breakers turned off. As you can see, I already put a section up. I'm gonna set up this section so you can see how it's assembled. You're probably wondering about that hatch. I'll talk about that a little later. And then we're gonna see just how bright it makes this garage. Don't worry, I got a before video of what it looks like with these LED style lights in here. I need to replace those. They are just insufficient for all the projects that I do here in the garage. Some of you are going to wonder about power consumption. So with this plugged in, I'm pulling 107, 108 watts. So that's about 17 or 18 watts per section. I have a set up already up here. This is 24 bars or pieces. So that would be about 432 watts. I have been getting by with variations of this type of lighting. I got my original ones up here. I've got another iteration here. And then I had these here, and these ones were the best ones. Those ones are pretty good too, but they're just not cutting it anymore. I need a brighter workshop. I think anyone that does projects can tell you, you can never have too bright of a workshop. So we're gonna have one cast down over the vehicle that parks here, one that parks there. When I'm doing a project on something, I can park in the middle and it'll cast light to both sides. And if I really like these, then we're definitely gonna put one there for that bay as well. So you have 2 ways of installing these. You can use an AC plug and just plug it in somewhere. I do have AC plugs in my ceiling for my garage door openers and this extension cord here, but that is not on a switch. So I would have to come up with a on-off switch. So instead, I am going to direct wire, just like I did right there. You can see there's a bit of a pigtail coming out of the fixture there. So remember, this is a review. I'm just getting it to work, see if I like it. And then I can look at replacing that and not have the open socket for a bulb. So right now it's just tied into all of the connection points and it's hardwired to make this run off of a switch. So that's what we're going to do over here. We're going to take out this LED bulb, we're going to expose the wires, and we're going to make all our connections. Let me show you what that looks like. So this also comes with the appropriate wiring if you wanted to directly wire this up and have it work off the switch like your current light bulbs do. And connecting couldn't be easier. Every single one of these joining pieces has a 3-prong connector in it. And then you just make sure that your 3-prong connector is on the outside, like mine is here. So it's in that orientation to make sure I can plug it in and get power. So it's exactly like this right here. Everything that you need comes in the box. We got the wire connectors if you wired up this way. We've got wall anchors and we've got the screws that fit those anchors. Now this lighting is very light. It doesn't weigh much at all. It's all plastic. Again, quite cheap. It actually fits together quite nicely, so I'm very happy with the fit and finish so far, which we'll get into when I do the installation. But why I bring this up and how light it is, because all the anchor points, wherever you place them, you're going to put those screws that I showed you, but you probably noticed the heads on my screws are black. That's because I chose to use drywall screws. The sheetrock that I have on my ceiling here is thick enough that I feel the drywall screws hold it very securely, so that's the route I chose. Now placement on these was an important consideration for me. So this is 8 feet long, 5 feet wide. I felt that they would fit in between all this weird mounting hardware I have for my garage doors. One day it'd be nice to get the different style that gets rid of these and puts the motor up against the wall, and then I can actually raise the door. But for now, this is what we have to work with. I had to think of placement for over here as well as making sure that they're nice and square. So if I open my garage door part way, I can actually use it as a reference to see when they are square. So I might not show it very well on camera, but I used a laser at this point, and then I made sure that they were lined up perfectly. So I just have to do the same over here because I want symmetry. So if you're wondering how I did it, I based it off the garage door being open, and then I could get a nice straight line. You could measure from the wall, but I kept dropping my tape measure or it would flop down, so I chose to do it this way with the garage door. Allow me to show you just how easy these connect. You can take any of your joiners. There's a plastic protective film on here. You want to take that off, but they just push in like that. I wouldn't say they lock necessarily, but they are definitely firm. And then you plug in the next one, and it's really that easy. I pulled back the sheath a little bit on these wires to make them a little bit longer so I can make the connections up there. If you're not comfortable doing this, get somebody else that knows what they're doing, like an electrician, and also make sure the breaker is turned off, not just the light switch, in case somebody accidentally turns the light switch on. The black wire is live, the white is neutral, the green is ground. I really need to invest in some new tools, but that laser line will work. I've got those two corners lasered over so I can line up this side. I've actually extended that wire because I was not happy with how close it would be to one side or the other. So extending the wire is going to allow me to center it a lot better so it can be the same as this one here. Well, there we go. We got them all nice and lined up. So this is lined up with that end down there. It's kind of centered based on the hinges of the door. So each bay has a set of hinges in the middle. So that's kind of what I went with. And then they're in line with each other. So that's pretty good. Good enough anyways. Now we just have to assemble it. So it looks like this over on that side. It's going to mean going up and down the ladder a lot, but it'll be a lot like assembling Lego, which I loved doing as a kid. So there's that. Don't forget to remove the protective film before you start assembling. All right, we are done. We are about to do the reveal. We'll close the garage door because that's what my before video footage is based on. And also you get a little bit extra per box. So because I still have this cord, I can power up one more bar to give you some fittings. So if you bought enough of these, you could probably get away with another square somewhere in your setup. We'll just close the door here. Okay, here we go. Let there be light. Oh yeah, look at the difference. That is exactly what I am looking for. Much brighter for activities. Now I could have used this all set up when we were wrapping my car with this paint protection film. So much easier to see. I'll show you some footage of what we had to deal with before. This is going to be much, much better for filming in the garage, for doing activities, all of the above. I'm very happy with this upgrade. Just look at that, so much better. Now earlier I said I'd talk about this panel right here. So I have a attic up there above the garage, which I never really go into, but if I had to, it's okay. I just didn't put a screw there and a screw there, so I can take out those junction pieces, take off 3 bulbs, maybe 4, and then I could access that no problem. So there's a workaround. I might put a little bit of adhesive right there and right here and right there, just to kind of stick it up a little bit, but I think we're okay. I can't put the adhesive in the middle because it's at a different, it's inset a little bit, so I couldn't quite do that, but I think it looks good either way. Now this upgrade might not be for everybody. Again, I went with the absolute cheapest Hexagon lighting. I like it for the type of projects that I do. I'm actually going to order another 1, 2, maybe 3. Definitely want to put one right there above the Chevy Cameo and just have this kind of consistent all the way across. And maybe I'll put some at the back of the garage. Maybe I'll put them up here by the workbench. Either way, lots of options. And on that note, if you like today's video, hit that like button. Please consider subscribing. We'll talk to you next time.